guys, I'm Mike and this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to Driver Ratings, which is where we analyse the performances of the drivers 1 to 20 on the grid on their performance in the race with a rating out of 10. This week we look at the Brazilian Grand Prix, an absolutely fantastic race. My favourite of the season so far. There are going to be some big scores in here because there were some great performances within the race and also some not so great performances within the race as well. But guys, hope you enjoy it. Here we go, let's get into the ratings. So starting in first position, that is Max Verstappen, and I'm going to do it 10 out of 10 performance for Max Verstappen. Thought he had a fantastic race weekend, obviously securing pole position on the Saturday for the race and then backing up in the race. Even though there were some things that came in his way that could have kind of derailed this race, like Kubica's unsafe pit release that almost sent him into the pit wall and put him behind Lewis Hamilton, he soon overtook him again. He dominated this race from start to finish. Fantastic performance from Max Verstappen. This is the type of performance I want to see him when he's battling Lewis Hamilton out on track. And yeah, it was an absolutely superb battle. It was the second round after Hungary, and boy did it not disappoint, the battle that they had on track. So 10 out of 10 for Max Verstappen for me. Next up we have Pierre Gasly in P2. Was not able to secure a podium in his time at Red Bull, but back in Toro Rosso, the team that he has absolutely flourished in the second half of the season. It is another 10 out of 10 performance for me. Second, his first ever career podium. Toro Rosso's second best ever result in the career of the team. Just absolutely incredible drive. Qualified best of the rest on the Saturday, and yes, obviously fortuitous in the fact that both Ferraris retired and Valtteri Bottas retired, and obviously that collision between Albon and Hamilton, but he still got himself in that position that he was able to take advantage of that situation, and it was a fantastic drive by Pierre Gasly. 10 out of 10 performance. Well done, Pierre. Superb and well deserved. In P3 we have, in the papaya orange, Carlos Sainz for McLaren, their first podium since 2014 when Kevin Magnussen and Jenson Button secured that podium. It was a superb race from the Spaniard, coming from 20th to finishing 3rd. Yes, benefited from safety cars in terms of catching up with things, but still an absolutely fantastic performance to put himself in the position to take advantage of those situations. You never know, you've got to be in the race to win it. Obviously he hasn't won it, but getting this podium, his first career podium as well, it is another 10 out of 10 performance for me. Absolutely brilliant drive from Carlos Sainz. Fantastic, so happy for him, and so happy because this is reward for what a fantastic season Carlos Sainz has had up till date. Absolutely superb season he's had with McLaren, and just reward. In P4 we have Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo, and for me, qualified, got into Q3, qualified P9 for the position. Again, one of those drivers who's benefited, but Alfa Romeo's best result of the season, because obviously Giovinazzi is in 5th as well. For me, I'm going to give Kimi Raikkonen a 9 out of 10. Superb drive for the Alphas. Brilliant. Obviously, I'm so buzzed by the race, I'm just giving everyone high ratings from there, but I think it's genuinely deserved. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for me for Kimi Raikkonen getting P4 in the race. Superb, well done Kimi. And moving on to his rookie teammate Antonio Giovinazzi, another fantastic drive for him. He obviously started further back. I believe he was qualified in P13, so to be in that position where he could claim P5 in the race, absolutely superb for the Alphas, and Giovinazzi as well. He gets a 9 out of 10 rating for me as well. In P6 we have Daniel Ricciardo, and I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 because he probably could have been competing for the podium place with Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz. but for the fact that he obviously received that 5-second penalty for a classic Daniel move, but he just went too deep into the corner. Magnussen allowed him space and took that, but the 5-second penalty compromised, but still getting the point, so I can't judge him too harshly. It is a 6 out of 10 for me for Daniel Ricciardo. In P7 we have our champion this season, which is Lewis Hamilton in P7. He is going to get a 4 out of 10 for his performance for me. He was obviously having a good race, fighting with Max Verstappen. The altitude had affected the maximum speed that the Mercedes could do this weekend. Strategy wasn't great. Lewis, I think, drove a pretty good race, but then at the second restart after the safety car, in his pursuit trying to chase down Max Verstappen when they pitted him on the second safety car, he went for a move in Sector 2. Nobody overtakes in Sector 2, but Lewis tried it and it went wrong. He spun out Alex Albon, robbing him of his first podium in a Red Bull and in his career as well. And also, obviously, Hamilton was able to finish third, but with a 5-second penalty, with everyone so close after that last safety car, it demoted him down to P7. I'm going to be harsh on Lewis. He sets himself high standards, and this wasn't a great race, so it's a 4 out of 10 for me for Lewis Hamilton. In P8, we have the fellow McLaren driver. I should mention as well that McLaren have now mathematically sealed P4 in the Constructors' Championship, which is massive for them. Really good, best of the rest in Constructors, and Carlos Sainz probably still with a shout of being best of the rest in the Drivers' Championship as well. But yes, really impressive drive from Lando Norris, but probably disappointing to be finishing behind those. Started in P10 and finished in P8. Probably wasn't one of those ones who benefited from the safety car. So for Lando Norris, for me, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. A solid performance, but obviously falling behind his teammate Carlos Sainz and some other drivers. Yes, it's still a points finish and it still helps secure McLaren get that P4 in the Constructors, but it isn't good enough higher than that for me. So 7 out of 10 for Lando Norris. P9 is the man in form in the second half of the season. Another points finish for Sergio Perez. Not a big one in terms of what could have capably been. I presume he's going long on tyre management. Didn't quite work out in this race. Didn't see much of Checo within the race. But a very solid performance by the Mexican again, and like I said, he's only not scored a points finish in one race, which he was forced to retire with a engine problem in Singapore. So absolutely superb by Sergio Perez, but just a 7 out of 10 for me. 9th position, great from starting from 15th on the grid, but still, you know, maybe could have been more, but a 7 out of 10 for me, Sergio Perez. Well done, Sergio. And rounding off the points finishes is the teammate of Pierre Gasly, and that is Daniel Kvyat. I do feel sorry for Daniel Kvyat. I was saying it on the live stream yesterday, that, you know, he was clearly frustrated at being overlooked for the Red Bull seat in the summer, then frustrated by how well Albon has done in that seat and pushing forward. And then Pierre Gasly has come into the team and performed excellently, and now he can't even say that he's got the best result for Toro Rosso in the season with his podium in Hockenheim, because Pierre Gasly has secured P2 today. A points finish for Daniel, didn't qualify well, out in Q1 qualifying P16, but he has got a points finish. Yes, so I'm going to give Daniel Kvyat a 7 out of 10, and chin up, Daniel. Things hopefully can get better for you in 2020 when you can have a clear mind. In P11, a guy that I feel sorry for, and that is Kevin Magnussen, involved in that collision early doors with Daniel Ricciardo. Wasn't his fault. Ricciardo obviously got the 5-second penalty for it, and yeah, his race was compromised from that. Had to stay out, but you know, it wasn't really going to be the same from that situation. He was obviously running in the points at that point, and yes, unlucky for K-Mag. A 7 out of 10 performance for me, because being on the cusp of the points from where Haas have been, obviously both cars qualified in Q3, and we all know that Sunday is where they struggle. But yes, still a good performance by Kevin Magnussen. It is going to be a 7 out of 10 for me. P12 is George Russell, and so close but not quite there For the points position, oh George, it looks like you won't be able to get the points, but at least you can probably rest assured in the likelihood that you are going to outqualify your teammate Robert Kubica in every session this season. So that will be a small consolation for you in an uncompetitive car. But he has finished ahead of Romain Grosjean in the race. I'm not sure if something happened to Grosjean later, because he was running in the points in 6th, I think, and then dropped back all the way back to 19th at some point. So yeah, I'm really unsure kind of what happened at that point with Romain Grosjean. But we're talking about George Russell. For getting a Williams near the points in P12, it's got to be an 8 out of 10 performance for me. Fantastic drive by you, George Russell. In P13, we have the Frenchman, Romain Grosjean. Like I said when I was talking about George Russell, something happened to him. He was running in the points and looked like he was having a good race. I presume with Haas, again, it was tyre issues. With tyre wear, it just kind of, yeah, doesn't go well for them. But fantastic by both him and Magnussen getting in Q3 for the first time, both Haas cars, since the Spanish Grand Prix. And the race performance, 11 and 13, considering how things have been, it's not a bad result. But finishing behind George Russell and the Williams, I'll give Romain Grosjean a 6 out of 10 for his performance. In P14, we have Alex Albon, and I feel so sorry for him. Without the safety cars, I don't think he was necessarily having a great race within a Red Bull car that clearly had race pace. He was struggling to get past Bottas. Then when Bottas was struggling to get past Leclerc, he probably still was in with a shot at getting P4 in the race. But we would have seen how that one would have unfolded. But he obviously benefited massively from the safety cars. A great overtaking move on Sebastian Vettel from the restart in the safety car. Then on the restart of the second safety car, going through sector 2, Lewis Hamilton tries a move on him, clips Albon's rear wheel, spins him out, and yeah, loses his first shot at a podium in Red Bull, which would have been fantastic for him and a fantastic way to celebrate, obviously being securing that Red Bull seat for 2020. I feel sorry for him. I'm not going to judge him harshly. He was in that position to claim a podium. 9 out of 10 for Alex Albon. Finishing P14 wasn't his fault, it was Lewis's fault. So yeah, well done Alex, but unlucky for not securing that first career podium. In P15, Nico Hülkenberg. If someone can tell me that he had something wrong with his car or something went wrong, please do tell me, but didn't necessarily qualify great. I believe he qualified P14 on the Saturday. And yeah, P15 only being ahead of Robert Kubica's Williams, being behind the George Russell Williams, even being behind Albon after his spin. Yeah, not great for Nico Hülkenberg, but I think he probably just looks a broken man from realising that he's not going to be in F1 this year. So I'm not going to be too harsh. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Not great compared to Daniel Ricciardo with his 5-second penalty, still managing to finish P6 in the race, and Hülkenberg not within the points. So yeah, 5 out of 10, bit disappointing, a bit sad for Nico Hülkenberg. In P16, bringing up the rear as always, Robert Kubica. Yeah, you just hope for Robert. I'm not going to say much about Robert. Fantastic that he made his achievement back in F1. This is a common theme. Neither good nor bad. 5 out of 10 for Robert Kubica for me. Now guys, we move on to the DNFs, and we start off with those Ferraris. Oh God, Ferraris, things go wrong. What? Oh, I don't even know how to say this. So obviously Leclerc overtakes Vettel in the Senna S's, but Vettel gets the better traction out of the exit, going down into the DRS straight, goes to go overtake, he kind of drifts in, they make light contact between the two. We've seen it plenty of times. Reeling kind of cars get away with it, but in this case, of course Ferrari don't get away with it. And yeah, Leclerc's front right suspension fails and he goes off the track. Vettel gets a left rear puncture and his race is over and stood there. So I'll start off with Vettel. I still think it's a racing incident. I've seen a lot of people blaming Vettel for this. There wasn't like a major sudden move to it. I don't think Vettel was majorly caused a collision here, but I'm still going to give him a 4 out of 10 because it was a bit of a nothing race really. He kind of fell behind Hamilton and Verstappen for the fight for the lead, and then got safety cars really didn't fall in his favour, and wasn't great on that position there. Ferrari maybe stitched him up a little bit, not pitting him for tyres on the first safety car, leaving Leclerc to really take advantage of that. But Sebi Vettel, 4 out of 10 for this weekend. And Leclerc was running, considering he started P14 in the race, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. It was a solid race. I can't really see any fault for Leclerc in this incident. Obviously would have finished, I think, making that P4 with 14th to 4th in the race, probably good, and his defending against Valtteri Bottas during the race shows just how good Charles Leclerc is, because he was on worn tyres where Bottas was on fresh tyres, so that defence was really impressive to me. So a 7 out of 10 for Charles Leclerc. Then we move on to Lance Stroll. He was actually having a good race. Again, not qualifying great, being knocked out in Q1, but he had a very good race start. I believe he'd even overtaken his teammate, and for a large part of the race was racing ahead of his teammate, but obviously had a front right suspension failure, and he had to retire from the race there. No fault of his own. Feel a bit sorry for Lance Stroll. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he was having a very good race Sunday actually up until this point, but yeah, shame for that. And then the last driver, I'm going to be harsh on him, Valtteri Bottas. Retired from the race through no fault of his own with an engine failure, and then strategy mucked him up a little bit because he was put onto the hard tyres, hoping that it would be a 1-stop, but then realised that the hard tyre wasn't a great compound, forcing him onto a 2-stop. So he then managed to use a soft, a hard and a medium compound over the course of the weekend, which wasn't great for him, but he couldn't get past Charles Leclerc on fresh tyres, and it was just like repeat every lap. Leclerc would make the same defensive move, Bottas would get close, think about it, decide against it, and then his engine overheated and it failed. I don't know if it overheated, but it certainly kind of blew up and he had to retire from the race, and was the cause of the safety car that then spiced everything up in the race. I can't give him bonus points for that, but for me, Valtteri Bottas gets a 4 out of 10 for his performance. There you go, guys. That is a roundup of the drivers. My driver of the day, 3 of them. All 3 of the guys who got on the podium. Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, all 3 are deserving of driver of the day for me. I'm not going to split it. Fantastic performances from all 3, and that's why all 3 of them got 10 out of 10 performances from me. The race, 10 out of 10. Had a bit of everything for me. Fantastic battles at the front of the field, fantastic battles through the field, drama in terms of a safety car, and yeah, a fantastic race performances, fantastic driving performances within there. Yeah, great race for me, 10 out of 10. My favourite race of the season so far. God, I seem to be in a very positive mood. But guys, that is it. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget you can give it a thumbs up and let us know. Comment down below, do you agree with my ratings? What are your ratings of the drivers from the race? Who is your driver of the day and how would you rate the race? And also, if you are new around here, don't forget subscribe to this channel, click that bell notification, and you can watch more videos just like this one. Me and Ashley will be back tomorrow with our full race review podcast, where we look at all the incidents within the race in a little bit more detail of obviously our crazy race reaction that we had yesterday. But for now, you F1 fans, keep racing.